Good morning. Happy Saturday, day after Christmas, December 25th. Captain's log, stardate 12/25/2020. Just wanted to share letting things go. Now this can pertain to anything that's bouncing around in your head, any thought, any situation, any personal grief, loss of family member, loss of a relationship, loss of a friendship, something somebody said, somebody's done. Uh, People say, let it go, right? Let it go, let it go. Easier said than done. So one of the things that I use is called the Sedona Method. And I'll briefly describe it, but as I do my own research. You do your research, and that will lead you down with the path that you need to get the answers you need because there's different information on the Sedona method. I think it was developed by one individual. I don't know his name. I was introduced to the Sedona method a couple of years ago. Very simple. Personally, my situation is and this I believe this tends to happen to a lot of us. We want to be understood, right? Especially when you care and it involves someone else and their feelings are hurt. And sometimes you don't have a chance to explain yourself. You've been asked to distance yourself, or whatever the case may be. Even sometimes when you do talk to someone, they just don't. They just won't get it. They just won't, because if they have it in their mind that that's the way it is, they don't trust you. They don't believe you, which that puts that relationship in a whole nother place. But when you try to explain the intention of what you said or done, and they take it another way, so that bounces around in your head, right? Well, that's not what I meant. So and you just sometimes you can't get people to see it that way, and it's not being right or wrong. It's just it's about intention. It's about what that person's intention was. Now, was there a different way they could say it or do it? Sure. Is it a one-off situation? Is it where it's just, it's just a one-time thing and it's really not worth worrying about? And then sometimes you start to deal with the situation and it comes back up. There's another route because this particular thing was kind of brought to my attention again through someone else, through another conduit. So it's like, okay, so that it still stings, and you think of different scenarios that how you would explain it, and uh, but it's like, oh, okay, I've explained it, and they still want to keep throwing it around. It's bouncing around in their head. Why is it bouncing around in my head? Because it just does not going to do any good, right? So one of the methods is the Sedona method, and basically what you do is you don't try to just forget it or wash it under the rug or wash it, sweep it under the rug or whatever phrase you want to use. You sit down quietly and you take it in. Take in all aspects of the situation. Just really absorb, immerse yourself in that situation. Whether you're right or wrong, play the scenario out in your head. And when you come to grips with it, which you have to eventually, right? And you can come to grips with it in that moment. I mentioned this the other day. At New Year, some people write down bad things, They burn the paper, blah blah blah. That sometimes the shit still bounces around in your head. Well, this is a way to, and that this goes right or wrong when when I talk about meditation and stuff like that. It's taking specific time for yourself, and this is kind of the same idea. Is because there's always something. It's life. It's just life, and it all comes down to how you feel. You want to feel good. You want to feel happy, right? You want to feel comfortable. You want to feel you want to feel loved and secure, and that's what it all comes down to. And each situation, each day, there's different little things that come up that you may need to do. But the Sedona method is you sit down and you just if it's a sad situation, you cry about it. You don't just pretend like it's not there, and you just let it happen. And then you let your rational mind take over. And well, I did this, I said this, and my intentions were pure. I would have done it for them if it was something that they felt was done against them, which in this situation I did for them first. It just didn't come out verbally. Anyway, so you have to come to grips with it personally because that person's not there. And depending on where you're going with this person, now if it's your spouse or a significant other that you plan on, continuing your life with, then that's a little bit different story. Then a meeting of minds is gonna have to happen. You guys are gonna have to come to grips with it. And I don't know if the Sedona method would help with that. I'm just looking at this in particular is to help you as an individual when you're, like I said, even if it's a loss of a loved one, that person's gone, and it's this stuff's bouncing around with you, or a relationship's done, or something that happened at work, and you can't explain yourself, and then it's if that person's not willing to open their mind and understand, if they don't, like the other day when I said seek to understand, if they're not in that spot, then it doesn't matter. So it comes down to you. This is where you have to be selfish because you have to feel good to continue on with your other relationships with people and the things you need to do. So you sit down with whatever the situation is, you come to grips with it, and come to find that plateau. Like the other day when I was talking about, if you're climbing a mountain and you stick the anchor in, you got to stick an anchor and try to get there. Now, it's depending on what it is, that may help you. Boom, it's done. You may have to do it again later in the day. You may have to do it once a day. It depends. It depends on how bad you want to get over it and let it stop bouncing around your head. So, once you reach a spot and you get the anchor in, you might fall down a little bit and then you can get back to that spot. But like I said, this is a very simplistic explanation, and it's just to lead you down the path because I don't have all the answers. I don't subscribe to one method of doing things because there's different ways for different situations for different people. That's just the way it is. So you go look up the Sedona method if it's something you think that'll help you, and as you go down that path, you'll learn things that I didn't learn, and I'll probably be able to learn from you at that point. So it's like I said, it's a very simple method. It's been around for a long time, and like I said, it's just simply sitting down and not ignoring the situation, but giving yourself time and space to deal with it right then, and kind of come to clarity with it for yourself, so you don't keep dwelling about it, so it doesn't keep you up at night, so it doesn't affect your work day, or the relationship with your children or your parents, or whatever the case may be, so it doesn't keep bothering you. So the Sedona method, Google it, look it up on YouTube. There's stuff out there.